All right, everyone, buckle up. Today, we're diving deep into something we all struggle with: bad money habits.
Oh, yeah. These things are sneaky.
Yeah,
And we've got a gold mine of tips from a seasoned finance pro, someone who's seen it all, to help us break free.
exactly. We're talking over a decade of experience, folks, so let's get right to it. You ready?
Absolutely. Fire away.
All right. So, first up, and this one hit close to home, it's the classic pay yourself last trap. We've all been there, right? Bills first, maybe a little fun money, and whatever's left. Well, future us can deal with it.
It's so common and so detrimental. We think of savings as this optional extra instead of a necessity. But think about it.
Like when that direct deposit hits.
Yes. Instead of thinking, okay, bills, 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 what if we flip the script? Imagine this. Pay yourself first.
I like the sound of that already.
Right. Before anything else, you set aside at least 10% of your income. Make it automatic, like a non-negotiable expense.
It's like that gym membership you never use but keep paying for. But this time, it's actually beneficial.
Exactly. And speaking of mindset shifts, let's talk about debt. Specifically, that slippery slope of getting too comfy with it.
Oh, I know this one. Our culture makes it ridiculously easy to just whip out the credit card for everything. But that convenience comes with a hefty price tag.
It sure does. Interest rates are brutal. Do you know what the average credit card interest rate is these days?
Can't tell me. It's scary high, isn't it?
Try a whopping 22%. It's like handing over an extra 22 cents on every dollar you borrow.
Ouch. Yeah, that's rough. Definitely not worth those impulse buys. And speaking of things that feel impossible to control, our next bad habit is not tracking our income and expenses. It's like walking a tightrope blindfolded.
And without a safety net,
Hmm.
you're bound to stumble. Awareness is key here. You absolutely need to know where your money is going.
Right. Otherwise, you get that nice raise, and suddenly you're justifying all sorts of unnecessary upgrades. Well, you tell yourself, I can afford that bigger apartment, that fancy coffee machine.
That's lifestyle inflation creeping in, my friend.
It's so tempting. But future you will thank you for pumping the brakes and being strategic. Okay, let's switch gears to something a little more fun. What about those hobbies that secretly drain our bank accounts?
Look, I'm all about enjoying life, but it's all about finding that balance, right? If your vintage sneaker collection is on its way to owning your apartment, well, it might be time to reassess.
Definitely. So what's the solution?
Two options. Well, ideally you do both, but you can find ways to save more within your existing budget or look for ways to boost your income.
Love it. Hit us with those money-making strategies.
Earning more is where it's at. Investing, even small amounts over time, can make a huge difference. Or maybe it's time to ask for that raise. You deserve it. Or even exploring a side hustle. There are so many options these days.
So many possibilities. And on that note, let's not forget about everyone's favorite topic, taxes.
Taxes, they're a fact of life. But you know what? Understanding how they work can save you a ton of money in the long run.
Please tell me more.
Have you heard about accounts like ISAs and Roth IRAs?
I have. Aren't those designed for like super savvy investors?
Not at all. These accounts can be a game changer for tax-efficient investing.
So they help you hold on to more of your hard-earned cash.
Exactly. But of course, there are some rules. You've got to do your research and pick the one that aligns with your financial goals.
Makes sense. And while we're talking about time, we can't forget about the magic of compound interest. The earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow.
It's like planting a tree,
Hmm.
right? The best time was years ago, but the second best time is now.
Love that. So to recap our deep dive today, we talked about 6 bad money habits to ditch. Paying yourself last, getting too comfortable with debt, ignoring where your money goes, letting those hobbies get out of hand, overpaying in taxes.
And waiting too long to start investing.
Exactly. Those are the big ones.
The key takeaway here is that you are in control of your financial future. You have the power to change these habits and make a real difference.
So what's one small step our listeners can take today to start breaking free from these bad boys?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I would say reflect on the habit that resonated most with you and identify one small action you can take today to start changing it. Even baby steps can lead to big results over time.
I love that. So listeners, what are you waiting for? Start small, be consistent, and never stop learning. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your finances. Keep exploring and watch your financial well-being soar.